Hey guys, welcome to Gods Unchained with the Professorf. Alright, in today's video, I'm going to talk about a recent tournament that I played in and maybe share some tips and strategies on how I went about approaching the tournament. So the tournament that I played occurred on August 17th. It was the FFF. It was the 36th tournament that they've hosted. This was hosted by Xborg and the host was F2W Razian. So this was a free tournament to join. There was a $60 in total ETH prize. This was a single elimination, and here's the quick description. It was a free-to-play tournament. Only welcome and core cards were allowed. For most of the tournament, it was a best of one, meaning you play one game, and if you win, you're moving forward. If you lose, you're out of the tournament. In the finals, which is battle for first place, second place, third place, and fourth place, it was a best of three. Now, the important part about the best of three finals is that it's a KOTH, King of the Hill. King of the Hill means if you win the game, you have to keep your deck and the same god, and then the opponent gets to choose a deck that could counter you. So that's very important. So, first place received 0.019 in ETH, second place received 0.011, and third place received 0.008. So let's go over the bracket real quick. I started off right here, round one. QA Simp, my first round opponent, was actually new to the game and joined the tournament but didn't have an account, so I pretty much got a bye there. My next opponent was Hero Within. He played a aggro mid-range light deck. I played an aggro nature deck. I won the game. Then I played against Trey Huang. I won that game as well. I believe my opponent here played either another light deck or a nature mirror. Actually, yeah, it was a nature mirror. This was a nature mirror, and I was able to win that. The next round opponent, fourth round, this was tougher. Napu played a controlish deception deck with sleep and removals. That was a long match, but I was able to take that win. I stuck with nature pretty much the whole time. I went with aggro nature, thinking that because it's a best of one, it's a fast and aggressive, and I'll know pretty quickly if I could win the match or not. And for these best of one events, my strategy is just to go quick early on, and if I lose, that's fine. I'm not going deep in the tournament, but at the same time, it's a formidable deck that you could match up with a lot of other decks. And then after beating Napu, I was in the top four versus Cloud Haze. The bottom bracket was Jekoi, Lekoi, and Fate. This one also was a Nature Mirror. I was able to win that one, which advanced me to the finals. I played Fate for first place. He won the first game. I won the second game, and then he came up with a counter for the third game, and he took first place. So I came in second in this tournament. Going over the decks real quick. So for most of the tournament, I played this aggro nature deck. You can see the curve here. It was a fairly low curve. We have about 18 cards between 1, 2, and 3 mana, 6 cards in the 4, and then a little bit of top end here. So focusing on the well core cards here, we have our strong cards here with the 1 mana drop. We have Marshwalker, Pyre Shell Beetle, Wild Hog. So these are typical strong cards. We have our Black Jaguar, Canopy Barrage. Here I added the Barksworn Protector. I think it's a decent 2-3 with the ward. And then I added 1 Fei-Fang Blade. Normally, you could argue running 2 Fei-Fang Blades, but I just went with 1 here. And the reason for that is because I chose to run 2 Staff of Roots instead. And then 2 Lightning Strikes in case they drop a big creature with Managarma. And then the fourth drops focus on the Wildfire with the Feral Shifter. I think that's the strongest 4 drop we have. And then 1 Bladefly and 1 Nefarious Briar. On the 5 mana here, I'm looking for big stats, so we went with the Angry Hippo, a 4/6 stat line, and then the Veil Warden Minotaur, which I think is one of the best 5 drops. It gives you a heal and also a 7 mana card, so your deck goes a little bit into the mid-range version. And then I ran 2 hunts for the removal. So this was the nature deck that I ran for most of the tournament. And then in the finals against Faith, Game one, I kind of messed around and chose a deception deck. It didn't do too well, so I'm not really going to go over that deck. It was something I made at the last minute, sort of just a spur of the moment, put it together. Conceptually, I thought it would work, but on paper, I didn't practice the deck, so didn't really play it well. So I lost the first game. But the second game, I had a war deck that I had prepared as well. Um, this one, you could see that it has a solid low curve, but also extends out to the mid-range later game. So I put some strong early game to contest in case I'm facing against aggro. We have Auric Rush, Vanguard Axleman, Enduring Shield, Tavern Brawler, Relics with the Enduring Shield and Blade of Sticks. We have Protected Creatures with the Raid Reveler, Battle Mage. I put some Blitz with the Viking Longship. We got Carnage Sweep there with the Orcish Elite. And then I added some mid-game to late-game strong cards like Porphyrion for the Ward and the God Power effect. Grendel, which has Protected and Blitz. A Helium Blade Master for the Ward and card draw. All this is hopefully setting up for a Hector, which will end up getting Blitz, Protected, Twin Strike, and Ward. And then one Helion Elite in case the game goes pretty late and it's a pretty hard creature to deal with in the welcome core format. So that's pretty much the decks I ran there. So we can go over the gameplay a little bit. So this was the host on Twitch, F2W Razian. Feel free to give him a follow if you have not. He's just going over here the brackets. Um, I believe he's showing sort of my next matchup, which was Cloud Haze. I did not share my screen for the previous matches because he was showing other games. So Cloud Haze is my fifth round tournament opponent. Winner of this gets to either play for first or second. Loser gets to play for third and fourth. If you'll notice, I have here windowed mode. I usually play in windowed mode because I like to do other things while I'm playing GU. So the host asked me to go ahead and expand my screen there, which I'm going to do in a minute. But let me go back to the mulligan here real quick, just to talk about how I went about this nature mirror. So part of the strategy is knowing your matchup, but also knowing your position in the game. So here I'm noticing that I'm going second. So I go with Selena's Mark to play a more controlling game. What I'm looking for is a strong early creature with removal. So I like the one drops, but there's too many one drops. So I'm going to get rid of the Wild Hog here because I don't want confused early on. I don't need the Briar because it's too early. And then I keep the Fei-Fang Blade. That's something what I'm looking for is either the Fei-Fang Blade or Canopy Barrage and maybe even the Jaguar. So here I'm just making the screen bigger so he could show it better on his Twitch stream. So opponent goes out right away with a mana pip and plays the Jaguar. That's a very strong turn one play in a nature mirror. The only way I could answer that is if I have a Canopy Barrage. So I go ahead and just, I don't want to put my creatures because it'll just die to the Jaguar. So I go ahead and play my Fei-Fang Blade. I hit it twice, dropping it to 1 health. So that gives me the option next turn. If he blanks, I could God Power and hit it 1 time. Or I could hit it 2 times with the Fei-Fang Blade. Lucky here, he only plays 1 mana here, which is the Marshwalker. That gives me the opening to try to take the board. So here I decide to save my Canopy Barrage and play 2 1-mana creatures because the Marshwalker will have a hard time dealing with it. And then I hit 2 times here against the Jaguar. So you can see I'm already down to 15 health on turn 2. Half my health is already gone, but I'm looking to put myself in a position where I could take the board from my opponent. Remember, he went first and I went second. So going second, you're looking to take the board as strongly as you can. You're trying to contest it. So his Canopy Barrage there, I think was decent for me. If he hits a 1 drop, that's okay because now again he floated 1 mana as well, and he played a 2 mana card to get rid of a 1 mana creature. Now here, I play my Canopy Barrage. So again, the same thing, 2 mana on a 1 mana creature. However, I use up all my mana here along with my pip. But as you can see, I not only play a Marshwalker, I also follow it up with a Jaguar and the Canopy Barrage. So by me using a 2 mana card here to take care of his Marshwalker, I maximize the value of that play because I follow it up with a stronger board presence. I upgrade my board basically. So now my opponent has to figure out a way to deal with a stronger board without anything on his board. And I'm setting up for a possible 5 mana Angry Hippo here with my mana pip. So I like to see that, and I like to see this. This is I think not a strong play for my opponent here, so I feel good. Here, instead of going, I get the trade here, which I'm happy about. So instead of going with the Hippo, I just decide to go wide here with the Bladefly, save my mana pip. So I hit here as well. This one is one of those things where you could argue which way you want to go. I could hit here and get favor, or I could do what I did, which what this does is currently it's confused, so there's a good chance he's going to hit something and die anyway. However, the Badger doesn't have regen, and I'm trying to be careful about if he chooses to do a wildfire here. Sometimes they do a desperation wildfire, and this becomes a 2/3. The 2/3 can then trade and kill one of my blade flies. So by me making it a 1/1 here, it allows for a possible follow-up with the Marshwalker next turn, or if he chooses to do a wildfire, it then can trade and die as well to one of the blade flies. But if you want to go face here, I don't blame anyone going face here and getting the favor. So here he follows up with again with Animal Bond. So again, that shows me it's a pretty weak follow-up. Here, I think my opponent um, didn't have a chance to update his deck. There was a recent nerf to the Satyr. So it normally would have gave +1 strength to both Badgers, but instead it now puts me to sleep, the god. So I think this is not worth it in aggro nature anymore. So I think he forgot to update his deck here. So here we have 5 mana. I think I just drop a big creature here and start making trades. I'm trying to trade my Bladefly into this guy. So what that would do is that could allow me to possibly clear out the Satyr, but as you can see here, all 3 Bladefly misses. So I'm then forced to just try to clean up and minimize his board. So that missed. So now I just drop the Hippo. I go ahead and clear that off because with all the misses here, so with this missing here, I was trying to see if I could have a possible play where instead of hitting with the Jaguar for the trade, I could possibly hit a Bladefly and use the Archer or even the Marshwalker, but since everything missed, I had to change the plan here. And then I'm just looking to trade the Jaguar for the 3/3 now. So I get that trade. That's looking good. Here, considering it's pretty getting late in the game, he only has 1 creature. I'm just trying to load the board here, really put some pressure, and another creature that is not confused that will allow me to make a good trade later on if I need to. So again, we went second. We now have a commanding board presence, so we're looking really good here. And I think, ever since we went down to 15, if you remember, we went down to 15 um, by the second turn. Ever since then, since we took control of the board, we've only suffered 1 damage from then on. So it was really important for me to use that Fei Blade to establish board control, especially going second. All right, so Blade Flies work, and we start going face, adding pressure. And at this point, it's really, really difficult for the opponent to make a comeback. We have a full board, so we can't play the Minotaur. So I just got power, get back up to 15 health. So again, my opponent, I guess, had a bad draw here. He could have drew his early creatures early on, but it seems like he was skipping mana several times. Blade, he does a wildfire here on his Pyre Shell Beetle, but I think at this point it's very difficult now. So here I'm looking to just maintain as much of my board while clearing his Beetle. I decide to use the ping from the first bow, and I believe the ping from the Shapeshifter. And then I try to trade the Bladefly in. It misses. So I'm just going to trade the non-confused creature here. That's why I bought it last turn. And then I just keep adding pressure. He's down to 5 now. We have our wand here doing 2 damage per turn. So it's not looking good for our opponent. He drops a 6/6. It doesn't do enough against our Hippo. Hippo has lots of health. GG's. So I go ahead and take the win. and move on to the finals. All right, I believe we're here in the finals. We're going to go through this a little quick. So here, again, first game of the finals. I think I made a mistake here, right? It's King of the Hill format, so I should have started off with a strong deck first. I kind of, decided to experiment and go a little bit unpredictable with the Control Deception deck here. Again, as I said, I sort of put the deck quickly together. Didn't really have much practice playing Control Deception. Wasn't even too familiar with the flip God Power here. So, it was a bad call on my part. So basically, let me speed this up. Um, it was pretty much a bad call on my part, and I ended up just throwing a game and getting myself behind. Fate, my opponent played Magic very well. Just trying to stall it out here. The game plan that I was going for was stall out and then use Cutthroat to steal his big threats. It worked out for a little bit until it didn't. So he has no problem clearing my board here. Here, his board doesn't look too menacing, so I think I play Cutthroat here, and he didn't really have any good options. So again, I could have gone with taking Cram or the Metamorphosis. I thought with Metamorphosis, again, I'm trying to respect his big creatures later on. And part of it, me, is not getting enough matchup experience against Magic. So at this point here, I think he's in the driver's seat. You'll see, I think here, a part where I wasn't too familiar with the flip God Power, and I believe I end up burning a card as well. Yeah, nothing I can do against a hidden creature here, so I think I play flip here. And I think this is where I burn a card. Yeah, so I burn a card, and I think I end up, yeah, I burned my hunting trap. I wasn't too familiar on how to, on sort of how many cards you can hold and trade in. So definitely a learning experience there, meaning I learned not to play control deception. Yeah, at this point, he's in the driver's seat. He's just going to end up winning this one. So we'll skip ahead a little bit. It's just basically him destroying me. So he's up 1-0 now, 1-0. I decide to go with War here, as I mentioned. This is sort of my mid-range with a little bit of splash of late, with a little bit of a late end. I had the deck built already, so the game started out pretty quickly. He couldn't change deck, so I just went with Slayer, trying to add that pressure and burn him down quick. Also, the perspective is on Fates here because my as you noticed probably in the nature match, my sharing was a little bit choppy. So here I'm just trying to knowing that it's the same deck from last time. I know it's a control version, so I'm just trying to go as fast as I can and add pressure. I dropped the creature first, drew my shield to start getting the protected going. Magic has a hard time against protected. You can see that his Crystal Rain can only work if there's no protected, so he has to work on getting the protected chipped away. So that's what he's doing here. He's trying to chip away the protected. Drops the time bomb here. I think I drop a Warmonger Smith to get my relic to 2 attack and clear off his creature and get protected. So that works out well. He gets the afterlife effect here, but that's fine. I followed up with more pressure here. So he could probably ping this away, but then he's looking at a 2-4 and a 2-3. So not a clean decision for my opponent here. All right, he does a Crystal Rain, which kills 2 creatures, but leaves me with a 2-4 still. So I drop the Orcish, get rid of his 1-3, keep hitting face. He's going to use, I believe, a Worm Breath here. So that's fine, because again, I still have pressure on the board. Keep pounding that face. I dropped a 3-3. So I'm just trying to, throw some health there that could survive removals. Creatures with health that could survive his removal spells. So his Aether Vanguard Roar effect can't clear the board here, I believe. So he's going to go with the archer and kill off the front line. So I know that he has big creatures. So I'm trying to start, doing more damage as fast as I can before it gets late in the game. So I do this play right here. So I dropped this Warmonger Smith on purpose to get my attack to 4. I see the Trapper in the Sanctum, so I know he's gonna has the option to buy it because he has enough favor. I do this because I'm trying to force him to use 1 mana at least on 1 mana on destroying my relic. So basically putting him to a decision of either playing a creature with a creature or spell at 6 mana, or he has to play something else plus 1 mana for the relic removal. I'm okay to lose that 4 attack here, um, because I think I followed it up with some. I think my hand had some strong creatures in it, so that was my plan there. So he gets rid of one Warmonger, and he does go ahead and tries to get rid of the relic, which is I'm okay with. As I mentioned, my hand felt pretty good in terms of answering um, a creature that he puts that wasn't too big at the 6 mana slot. So I was okay sacrificing my relic basically. So I draw a card here because I think I have a creature with ward coming up. So Inferno is a good play here. Clears out the board, uh, takes some pressure off him, gets him closer to turn 8 right for Hylian Elite. So here I drop my 5 mana creature which I had in hand, and then I pop him with the Slayer power, got him down to 13. Drop 2 creatures here to make it harder for him to deal with. So if you've noticed, if you go back and look, there's been several turns where he's been floating 1 mana here and there. That's one of my goals, was trying to make it inefficient for him to make the plays. Here, I just decided to keep going face. I got him low, keep the pressure on. I know turn 8's coming up. He's looking to drop a big front line. So here again, with the Porphyrion God power, he can't just ping my ward. That's a tough play for him. So he has an awkward turn here, thanks to Porphyrion's effect and also the ward on my creature. So he makes that trade, drops the front line, and I think by this time, I knew I had a Blade of Sticks, so I left the front line in the. I was okay with the front line being in the Sanctum. Yep, I did have a Blade of Sticks, so I went in and cleared it. Attack, got power, and doesn't matter what he does next turn. It's pretty much game over. So he concedes there, and now we're on to game 3. Um, game 3, again, this is King of the Hill, so I can't change my deck. My opponent actually hats off to fate, took the time and came up with a good counter deck to mine, which we'll go over now, and we're going to go over it. So he goes with nature, which pretty much counters my deck, right? He chooses the healing god power. We start off with the um, enduring shield here. You can see he has relic removal in hand. He has a big beefy creature. I don't know this, right? I just assumed he made a counter. He has another front line coming up already with the Angry Hippo. So he definitely made a strong deck to slow me down and throw me off my strategy here. So right here, he goes ahead and bags out with his bag of tricks, the Nefarious Briar, getting rid of my relic. So that's a good play for him. I'm already down a relic. He has a pretty strong creature. I think he decides not to attack so he doesn't accidentally kill it. I say nice because I'm like, I'm seeing the counter that I was guessing is happening right in front of me now. I drop my Porphyrion. Just go face here. I know since he has a counter, I'm expecting front line, so I'm trying to put the pressure on. He saw how difficult it was the Porphyrion last game, so I think he's going to prioritize killing it here. Yeah, so he sacrifices there and drops the big front line. And at this point, I'm not looking good here now. I need something that could clear the front line. Front line. My relic was gone. I don't have Orcish Elite. So at this point, you know, he gains control, a pretty good control of the matchup here. Like this was a key play here. Even though it's 16 to 27 health, I know at this point I believe that I'm like I'm in a tough spot. So yeah, so he has relic removal. He's saving up his favor for it. He knows the deck I have. I can't change is what I had. So I didn't have this last turn, so I had to use it this turn. Yeah, so he's just loading the board now, saving that relic removal. Drops to 7/8. I'm gonna have a hard time trying to answer that. Normally, you know, Grendel would have been strong there, but with him knowing sort of what to expect, this is pretty much it. Wildfire clears the protected, powers up everything. Yep, I would wildfire there, get rid of the protected, and you know, not even scary here at all. God power, swing, trade, and then just go face. Yeah, there you go. Nice pickup, another front line for him here. But at this point, it's pretty much done. You know, there's nothing I can do here. Yeah, so I mean, if my relic didn't get destroyed, counter seat would have been nice there. So I just show him that I had it, and that his counter strategy worked very well. So GG's here. Yeah, I just passed. Nothing I can do. All right, congratulations to Fate there. As I said, Fate took first place, came in second. Um, Jekoi Lekoi came in third. Cloud Ace came in fourth. Overall, a nice tournament. Um, feel free to drop F2W Razian a follow on Twitch here. And that's it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. And I'll talk to you guys later.